is happy, 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 happy. I'm trying to make a coffee at the same time. I'm happy, 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 happy because of what's happened to Josie. I do feel the need to have my car on the road, and I made a decision that, as big as the deposit investment was, after only just doing it 4 more times around because of policies that got stopped because of obviously having my car taken off of me, or having tickets issued against me, or this matter that's gone on with this car, or the fact that one of my cars finally ceased itself. So, as big as the deposit was, I've put it up, and I'm pissed off because I've very clearly at the beginning of the month for payday said, Amber, what payments are definitely going out? She said, nothing, it's only this. That's not actually true. And I've been hit by GoDaddy, I've been hit by iPhone, I've been hit by iCloud, I've been hit by all sorts of avenues that payments have just coming out because of this website, this thing, that thing, da 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 da. So it's put me in a really shitty situation, but I don't care. Because of what's happened with Josie, and because of everything that I stand for, I have to go back to my basic values and beliefs, and that's family. So Liam has not seen his son since coming down here and then going off to his dad's in Southend, and everything that's gone on with lockdown and COVID and all the restrictions. The challenge is Liam's ex has a different mindset to Liam. The challenge that I've got is people that I know have a different mindset to me. Any person not wearing a mask, any person not conforming to the ways of the world right now is considered a narcissist. They're going after people, saying you're a narcissist left, right and centre, selfish, self-centred, all of this. Thinking you're above the law, thinking you're better than anybody else, thinking that you're part of something. They're going for it left, right and centre. I today, as was driving back from my last live, all of a sudden saw a friend of mine parked up on the side of the road by the sea. And what caught my eye was the symbol that he has on the side of his van. And it's of a young girl with a teddy in her hand walking into a doorway. And she's in shadow and she walks into a light. And he has that on the side of his van. Now, he's a music and recording person. He's in his late 60s. He's been doing it pretty much since he was 18. And he lives in a van and he just travels around. Now, the other day, unfortunately, after I pulled over and tapped on his van and went, hey, I really need you right now, I got like 72 hours to save a soul. And obviously he knows me, he already knows about Josie and the situation, and I just said to them, look, this is what's happened, this is what's gone on, and Josie's head right now is totally wrapped up in everything that they've said, and the challenge that I've got at the moment is nobody can give me any of the information in relation to Josie's case. Any information of me discussing Josie's case is in breach of court. Josie's been gagged. So Josie can't do anything. Josie couldn't even admit that she actually knew that I was putting that document in, because then she would have been in contempt of court, because she was told by the courts that if she spoke to me, she would never see her child again. So she was damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. The solicitors knew it was coming. I've got proof and evidence of that. That's not a problem. I've got to start putting everything in email now to give me the evidence of everything. So basically, I've asked Liam to ring his dad and get him to the M40, so I haven't got to go all the way up, back down and around and down to Southend and then back up and back across, because that's going to cost me like another near 50, 60, 70 quid in petrol, depending how fast I try and cut corners. And it also puts me into a challenge of then having to go further into another domain of the UK, where I just want to go straight up the M40, straight up into the M6 and straight up to Preston. I'm going to take my son to see his son, and I'm going to see my grandson, who I pretty much haven't seen since I've been down here, and since Liam and his ex-partner separated. I can't even say they separated, because that isn't sort of what happened. Yes, darling. Where are you? You want this? Well, you can't pick it up while you sat in it, can you? How can you carry it while you're sitting in it? Are you wanting it? Where do you want it? All right, okay. So basically, I've probably just got enough for the petrol to get me where I need to go ish, and wing it and hope to God that something turns around and changes. So literally, I'm waiting for my mum to email me back to say whether she's having the boys on Friday or Sunday, because she's had to change the Thursday. But also, I know I was meant to be having social here. I got to double check now, because now I don't know whether or not it's Friday. She's social worker is on lockdown, so it's all a bit dumph. So I've made the Dean's gone, so I've made the decision that yeah. So basically, I just need to do my washing, which is a bit of a nightmare because of my washing machine, which is a pain in the arse. So I've still got more bedding to wash, and the boys are quite happy to go on a road trip. They're really happy. So basically, I'm just going to go while Liam spends time deciding what to do until he has to go back to work, because he's in the middle of an apprenticeship that's been on hold through COVID. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to go and find some snow. So to a friend of mine on there that I don't know what name to call her, because we go by 3 names at the moment. I'm heading up that way. So if it's snowing up your way, I'm heading up to your way. If not, but you all look really cold in your flat. I need snow and snug, snow and snug and snowsuits. So I'm going to need a bit of an extra budget to pull off what I'm going to try and do. So I'm going to start at Portsmouth, and I'm going to start at the square, and I'm going to go and do what I need to do there to call and find out all the Portsmouth people. And I'm going to try to stop at as many squares as I can, or many cities as I do, like I used to do, all the way up there, and call people as I do. And then once I get to Preston, I'm going to go to the square at Preston and call there. And so I know the mayor and all the things. I don't actually, not sure if I do know now, because I haven't been there for so long, but I know enough people up there to literally just be able to drive around, pull up at people's homes, get a massive big hug, and basically find out who hugs me and says, yes, come in despite COVID, and who doesn't, and whose minds are completely in fear and wrapped. And also try to, on my back. Yes, now I'm back. So basically, the aim or the objective for me is to get my son to his son, in line with my beliefs as mother, and go and see my son, and then literally, hopefully along the way, hopefully have achieved a laptop, hopefully, or even done it on my phone, just stopping along the way, hopefully printed it up, and hopefully got my case in against everything that's happened to me. I'm stuck with Josie. I'm going to appeal against the decision that they made, and I try to override for Josie, based on the fact that, one, from everything that I've seen over this last year, with everything that's gone on with Josie, and I'm only a witness to it. I'm a witness to how she's done. I haven't been anything involved in FEA or anything like that. I have come along a couple of times, just as somebody who's met Josie, who's like, well, this girl's really like on her own. And so everything that I've seen and how they've treated her is what I've been trying to say about the difference between people like me, who didn't sign the adoption orders, not James, sorry, Stephen, my children's father, who did sign the adoption papers, people like Josie, who've now been coerced and bullied and badgered into signing the adoption papers. Yes, darling.
I need crashed into you.
Oh, sorry. And people who...
I need some more milk.
Okay, and people like... Where's your bottle? And people like me and many others who refused to sign the adoption papers. Now, at the end of the day, if somebody wanted to have their child adopted, so say Josie, who now is thinking about, but maybe baby would be better off, and no, she doesn't have a house, and she's got people saying to her, right, we're going to help you get into your house now, we're going to help you get into therapy, blah blah blah. Josie's already gone off the rails. Josie's already gone into a world that has taken her off of the beaten track. And so what I basically did today was put Josie on the phone to my friend Bob. So Bob basically runs... Let me just steal Shiloh's bowl. Bob basically owns... It's called autism in music or something like that. And he's done he's done a 2 seconds, he's done an album with people from the streets homeless, and I've spoken to Bob a lot of times about doing something together, but he said, you're not going to believe it, he said, I've had my van broken into and my equipment taken, so all he needs is a speaker. So, and he said, funny enough, he said, I've been in here asking myself, why do I actually need a speaker? And he's been looking for somebody like me to work with. So anyway, I put him on the phone to Josie, and within about 2-3 minutes, the real Josie was back talking about writing music. And I'm really annoyed with everybody from the community of families that have had children taken. Yeah, I know, I can't find yours, darling. Because they could have really supported Josie when we put the page and everything out. They already know the shit that people are going to face by doing stuff. And it was only to encourage her to be who she should be and not everything. Like Josie said today, like he asked her whether she played a musical instrument. And she said no. Yeah. Josie had the opportunity while in foster care to play every musical instrument that she could possibly play, because that's what they did to her. They just literally just like got her to do anything and everything, to the point that she gave up everything. Music is her life, singing is her life, writing is her life, and to write music and sing is probably about the only way that's going to save this girl's life right now. One thing that Bob said to Josie at the end, and something that I've continued with Josie, is he said, if something is at the top of a shelf, so take this, it's at the top of the cupboard. I'm only 5'2", so I can't quite reach it, okay? Even on my tiptoes, I can't quite reach it. Now, if I have people around me who say, well, what's the point? You can't reach it. Well, then I'm never going to be able to reach it, have I? I don't need people around me, and Josie doesn't need people around her that tell her that she can't reach that. What she needs around her is people who say, well, hang on a minute, darling, I got a stool. Yes, it's heavy, but we can lift it together. And if you just hold that stool for me, I can get up here and I can get what I want off the shelf. I've got to be careful with this because this belongs to a very infamous artist. And I can get what I want off the top shelf. I've actually a little bit knackered it because I got it wet. But she can get it off the top shelf. She just might need something that she doesn't have right now in order to get it from the top shelf. So if you've got people around you telling you that you can't achieve what it is that you want that's on the top shelf, then you have to ask yourself, these people who are helping you be the stool to get to where you need to go, or are they the people who, that when you've got the stool, are telling you that it's too heavy to pick up and you can't do that by yourself, and you shouldn't be going up on that stool because you could fall? But you might fall. Josie could fall. She's already fallen. We've lost Josie now. Josie, if everybody takes their hands off Josie right now, including myself, Josie is going to become somebody who submerges herself into pills, smoking weed, alcohol, probably using every benefit money that she gets into that world, probably used for sex, probably on the streets. And she really doesn't. I wish I could show you the photograph that I took of her, and I'm going to use it on a blog on my website. I'm going to be literally writing this blog. I don't know how to leave this. I've been offered so many new lives. I've been offered so many worlds away from all of this. My family are not happy with me doing this. My father refuses to speak to me for as long as I do this. My mother will only speak to me about contact with the boys and refuses to be part of anything to do with this. Dean refuses anything. However, you know, when Josie came in, he gave her a hug and was like, I'm so sorry. And, you know, it was really difficult because he doesn't even understand what's going on with her. So, you know, he's never really understood what's been going on. And even he's like, well, hang on a minute, then she's gone. And I'm trying to say, no, Dean, don't do this to her. Don't do what everybody else does to all these parents. And it's what they did to me. My own mum did it to me. Social did it to me. Illegals did it to me. The housing people did it to me. The parents out there did it to me. The campaigners did it to me, and it wasn't true. And everybody told me that when I'd lost in court and they got care and placement orders of my kids, my mum said they're gone, they're adopted. Social told me there was nothing I could do. There was no avenues. It wasn't personal. My legals told me I had no avenues, no appeals, nothing. The only person to come out and say something to me was Stella from Family Army, and she had her own stuff going on, and I could have gone with her. I could have got on that train and gone with her. I could have done. And people like me and people like Stella that are going for our own cases and trying to help people in the best way that we can with the information that we've got. Like, take David Jenkins. He's now been able to send something over to me in a document, and I've read it and gone, wow, I actually understand what some of this stuff actually means now. And that's just on the basic forms that you fill out to go to court. Now, if they've only got care and placement orders on the child, the only reason that this is over is because Josie has signed. As far as I have been aware all this time, the baby has been with foster care placements. I even got Josie to ask, is she with potential adopters or just supporting foster carers? We were 100% told it was just supporting foster carers. So as far as I'm concerned, baby hasn't been placed and hasn't done the 10 weeks before they're even allowed to apply for an adoption order. But most adoption placements tend to keep it going for up to about a year, sometimes 2 or 3 years before they will even go for the adoption order. Why? Because once they sign the adoption order, they are 100% responsible financially. They only get the money during the time that they are 2 seconds, darling, someone's got to put. They only get the money during the time until, don't do that, you're going to cut me off, until the adoption order is actually signed. I can't remember what it is, but they get like adoption allowance each month. Sometimes it's even a big bonus. I shouldn't say bonus, that's a horrible way to put it, isn't it? That would put that in child trafficking now, wouldn't it? The fact that the social workers are paid a wage, the fact that the judges paid a wage, the fact that the solicitors are paid a wage, the fact that the police officers are paid a wage, the fact that all of the multi-agency frameworks, whoever they are, all sit as 5 to 7 people. It's the mats just in case you wee the bed. Right, go. Your brother wees the bed, what's the point? Take this off. Every single person. So basically, say I was in a pub and I was sat down with a female who works in a job and she's a social worker. Another female, even a male, sitting in the pub, who's a social worker when she gets up in the morning after a hangover and and things. And then you've got my 2 pals who are police officers during the day, and they too, night times. Yeah, and a few little. Yeah, so my 2 pals who are 2 police officers. So you've actually got 2 men this time because, this is a female that we're talking about. So they had to be a bit more butch and bring in big men, didn't they? So, and then all of a sudden as well, one's a local probation officer, got somebody, Sally works for the drug clinics. Yay, Sally works for the drug clinic, works for the drug clinics, yeah? And then, she did so well. She did amazing. She was dry for 10 years, and then all of a sudden this one baby got taken away, and she was really trying so hard, and she went home and she just sunk it, mate. She just sunk it. Sally did. She just sunk it. So anyway, my pal's in the pub. So I've got me 2 friends that are both social workers. Oh, we all graduated at Portsmouth University. Well, a couple of us didn't. I did my psychology degree and I did mine at Preston. And I think Sally went through all the Prince Trust and stuff because she was the biggest crackhead, smackhead, prostitute. Yeah, with everybody. And she cleaned herself up and she worked through the ropes and everything. She did all of the things. She went power driving, and they paid for qualifications. And eventually, she became an alcohol support worker and a drug rehabilitation worker. She done really well, but right until that case, yeah. And then all of a sudden, I've got my mate Hilda. She's a health visitor, and she's in the pub too because we're all celebrating. We're all celebrating the midwife that brought this life into the world, and she's just graduated to be a midwife, and we're all celebrating that she's just brought this life into the world. And while we were all sitting around, and me, I don't touch me coke and I don't really drink, but you know, I go outside for a bit of a puff on me smoke, yeah, you know. So we're all sitting around in the pub, and we're all talking about this little baby that come into the world. And while we're all talking, yeah, John mate comes in. He goes, yeah, she's all right, she is. I had her down the back of the fucking alley when she was 13, mate. Yeah, not bad, that one. Oh, yeah. Sally said, oh yeah, I've had my eyes on her. This one, we break this one, darling. Yeah, we can ship the baby off. That's 26 grand between us, John. We can list off that little bits in between us. And maybe we could probably even knock her up again and take the baby from. Yeah, I'll tell you what about that crackhead down the road? I'll tell you what, mate. If yeah, make sure he's hanging around out the courts. Don't forget what days she gets her payday, yeah? And when she's really fucking low, mate, yeah, let's get her when she's really low. When she's walking around on the streets, and she just get him to just pull her up and take her back for a bit. Just make sure that the syringe, mate's nice and fucking loaded, mate. Just let her go off into sleep. Won't take long, governor, will it now? She'll be knocked up in seconds, mate. We have another baby pop up. Hey, in walks Stephen. Hey, like, mate, yeah, did you hear about it? They're doing 150 grand a piece now if we can pop them up to the state, yeah? But just because they're in a pub and they sit down and they've got pieces of paper that they're writing things on and scribbling little notes on, and eventually all of a sudden Big Arthur walks in and says, yeah, love, so what's the fucking decision on this one? While they're all being complete hypocrites, total double standards. The courts don't even have a standard because they treat everybody as an individual, so they say. When everybody's meant to be swearing on a Bible in line with certain things, and parents that are not criminal, haven't committed any crime, haven't abused their child anyway, are losing their children to significant harm. But what annoys me about this now is not what I've been through, because I was 34 when this happened to me, and I had tools in me and coping mechanisms in me that these 18-year-olds that are coming through foster care, and even younger, I'm meeting people that have been raped in care, getting knocked up and having their babies taken at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. If you know people who have come out of foster care without their baby, I don't know what I can do at this particular point. I'm not here with a magic wand. There's not anything I can ever really do for anybody. But hopefully over time, as we create this platform, we might be able to. But it's about me understanding where this is going so wrong now. Go on then. Sorry, you should have been in the room. I was talking about stuff that I didn't want you to hear. You know, it gives me a better understanding, because all of the cases and everything that I've witnessed have all been people that have obviously come through. No, you're fine. There's no bleach on the floor. Have been all people that have either asked for help, so they've been at home and they've had children that.
Mommy, what is this?
What's what, darling? Toothpaste. You know what it is. They've all been people that have had physical conditions and have been at the hospital and been accused of child abuse and had children taken, or they're people that have gone for support, blah, 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 or people that have had pasts and then been asked to go into mother and baby units and not come out. But what I really, really want to know about right now is if you are in foster care and you have been left out of foster care and come out without your child, and like Josie, been told that you will never amount to anything, you'll never be anything, you can't give your child a chance, and made to feel so fucking shit and low when they know, hands on the plate, that she's beautiful and gifted. And now they've done it, that they've made her sign, because if they don't sign, then she can't stay where she is right now. So I want to know how many of the cases that I already sort of know the people in the network, but I maybe don't know facts about your case, or maybe we've connected at a time that my head's been so far up my ass with other stuff going on, or I just haven't been able to cope, or I've been in a meltdown, or I've been trying to understand things or process things. You know, it's been very heavy for any person like myself who's gone through going to a hospital where you've just needed childcare, to having children taken, told that EDS is the easiest condition to claim to have. And apparently I was sectioned when Aaron and Faith Aaron was 7 months old, and both Aaron and Faith had been to live with their paternal grandparents, which was absolutely bollocks. Like, there's a year and 1 month in between the kids, so that puts it to question immediately. So anyway, I know where it comes from. It's when Liam was 7 months old, and it was exactly the same thing. Gone into A&E with my neck, and exactly the same thing. Sent to mental health, which is going on at the moment. So at the moment, I'm starting to get on with cleaning again, and my neck's starting to play up again. So it's a bit of a pain in the arse. So I have to do something, because at the end of the day, all Dean keeps having a go at me for is do what you've got to do, but if it jeopardises the boys, Kelly, and obviously because of the trolls, it's not the cases, it's the trolls. So it's the trolls that cause me the problems, because then they ring social or cause things to go off to police or social, and then that causes me problems, because then I've got children and I get CP'd. So it's not actually clients that cause me the problems, it's the trolls that cause me the problems.
Mummy,
Yes, darling.
the egg and spoon race is going to start.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, guys, I've got to go because the egg and spoon race is going to start. Catch you later.